Hey guys, this is NOELonPC, the Vice President in charge of the experimental research division. And today, I'm literally, again, unfortunately deciding as we go, what are we going to do? We are going to, you know what, we're going to go to the moon. I have not successfully done this yet, so I thought, why not challenge ourselves and just give it a try. We're just going to make a simple little lunar lander kind of thing. Let's make it just a one-man. We're going to make it as small and light as possible. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We need advanced SAS. We need a decoupler. There we go. We need a parachute, obviously. Well, I guess we would need a parachute if it was a two-way trip. Let's see. You know what? We should try and make a two-way trip. Wow, okay. This is going to be tricky. Okay, two-way trip. Okay, that throws me a little bit. I've never even made the one-way trip successfully. I mean, I've gotten there, I've hit the moon, I've just never successfully landed on it. Okay, that should do there. We're going to need some landing rockets. Yes, okay. Whew. Just trying to do some mental gymnastics here. Sorry about that. I'm just thinking way ahead. I'm thinking, how many of these little things on the side do I need? What are we going to do with them? Essentially, what I'm doing here is I'm creating. Basically, these are air brakes. These 4 are going to be reserved for when I'm coming in real hot on the moon and I need to slow way the hell down. These 4 are going to be essentially my brakes. You know, put your ass to the wind and just hammer these things on. We need some nose caps for the top, not the bottom. There we go. As I've said before, this process is untested. I'm doing this on the fly. I'm not someone who plays this game like crazy and knows all the crazy terms and all the little techniques for, you know, doing perfect orbits. I'm like NASA in the 50s. I'm just basically chucking rocks up in the air and seeing what happens. Right? I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't practice these things. I just jump right into it, and success or failure, we go at it together. Okay, so probably want that as low as possible, just for the sake of what's the worst that could happen, really. If it's too low, it's just going to go into the ground. If it's too short, my guy's going to have to jump, and I don't want that. Okay, so I can land, I can get off. Now I need structural arms. I need some kind of strut landing thingamajigger here. Impact tolerance. So it looks like those are the way to go. This one is definitely lighter, so we're going with this one. Oops. Can I make one on each corner? Huzzah! Always do this if you can, because then they'll all be perfectly even. Now when that comes down, yeah, I don't think it's going to touch. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly go test. We're going to test this little landing gear setup here and see, do they actually even touch the ground? Because if they don't, we're kind of hooped. If we got all the way there and then crashed the rockets into the ground, that would be the end of them. Of course. So they don't touch the ground. Okay. So they don't touch the ground by about 3/4 of a foot in, say, in real world footage. So all we have to do is just grab the decoupler there. That's clearly not the thing I was grabbing. Let's try this one. Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm way over here. Come on, guys. There we go. So we're just going to move these bitches way down. Almost to the ground if we can. Much better. So I can almost guarantee that these are going to touch the ground, but let's just, you know, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Because if you're sorry, you explode. And if you're safe, well, you'll live, obviously. So the spacecraft needs to load in. There we go. Press G. G for gear, obviously. Good, looking good. Okay, so it is off the ground. And then little Kerbal dude hopefully can get to the ground. So this is how we're going to end up on the lunar surface, I guess. There we go. Yeah, looking good. Looking good, buddy. All right. All right, so that's looking good. I'm just going to throw a couple of structural ties between it. So when it's accelerating upwards through the atmosphere, it's not going to warble around too much. Nice and symmetrical. Good stuff. All right. Beauty. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So I need a decoupler to throw on the bottom here. Boink. Okay. Now for the staging. This is always tricky. I'm kind of intrigued by this monster. This is a mod, one of the mod pieces that I downloaded, but it is just, I believe, an engine. Does it have fuel? Oh, it does have fuel. Oh my. Oh my heavens. As George Takei would say. Oh my. Alright. Robomax decoupler. Does that even fit? Oh shit. Okay, so it looks like I can't use this thing because I don't have a decoupler big enough. I don't think. Maybe it's in propulsion? Nope. Okay, so yeah, apparently I don't have a decoupler large enough for this guy, so that's unfortunate. But what we can do is a system I know to work. And that is, we're going to do, basically I call it the heavy lander system. Alright, put this guy on here. So that is the heavy lander system. What we're going to do, because we're lifting a fairly light payload, I'm going to put some booster rockets on the side. Basically, these booster rockets are going to fire first. They're going to supply most of the initial lift. Is that even on there? That is on there. Beauty! Put a couple more up at the top here. There we go. Just keep everything rigid. Keep it all reinforced. Keep it all aerodynamic. And keep it all pointing in the right direction, because that's very important too. There we go. Okay. Now we're just going to do the same. Way up here. There we go. So once the boosters drop away, we actually do have something kind of steering us, at least up at the top there. So it looks good. It looks good. Really all we can do now is the staging. So again, just to make sure that everything goes off in the right order, we want the booster rockets first. Then the structural arms. Perfect, and then the boosters will drop away. No, we want that main engine underneath to go off first, then the boosters drop away, so there's no loss of thrust whatsoever. Once that main booster runs out of fuel, it'll decouple away, then the engine on. Once that's out of fuel, break away. All 4 engines on, check. Once those are done braking us, or getting us in line or whatnot, okay, this, so those are gonna have to land me as well as brake, because they have the landing gear on it. So they're gonna have to kind of stay on there until we've hit the ground. Might be a bit of a problem, might not, might just work fine. We won't really know until we give it a try. Okay, so that 4-stage lands. Get our guy out, run around, do whatever. Get him back in. And what we probably want is all systems go. Yeah, and then breakaway, final re-entry. Looking good. Okay, let's, I guess let's give it a try. I'm just gonna put this thing on the launch pad. I feel like in real life, thrust builds up on the ground underneath the rocket, and that does sort of assist in the initial launch. I feel like that's probably taken into account here, but who knows? Who knows? I did not design this game, so I don't really know anything about what happens in the background as far as all this math is concerned. But I feel a true NASA simulator would want a little pressure under there and not be starting 40 feet in the air. All right, a beautiful day. Cape Canaveral. We've got, I can't really read that. It looks like Patney or Patney Kerman. We'll call him Pat. All right, Pat, you are about to go where no Kerbal has gone before. The moon. So let's see how this works. So we've got a ton of thrust. Yeah, we've got a ton of thrust. We're getting really good speed. I almost wish I could throttle back these booster rockets, but I can't. Once they're on, they are on. Full blast. So basically, we just hope that we can get as much speed as we can out of those solid boosters before I have to turn on that main engine. Once that main engine is on, I can control the throttle on it. Almost out of gas on the boosters. Main engine on. Boosters break away. That's a new one. We somehow lost the booster engine? Did I even put one on? Mainsail liquid engine collided into. Oh, okay. So that little it was just bad luck. What happened was when the solid booster broke away, I think it must have twisted a little bit. And when it twisted a little bit, I think the fin on the booster rocket made a grazing contact with our solid fuel main engine, which is unfortunate. And I'll know for this time, turn the SAS off before you disengage the booster rockets. Okay, lesson learned. Let's hope it doesn't happen this time, because I don't really want to go back to the drawing board on this bitch. So we're looking good, hitting 100 meters a second before we reach 1,000 meters. It's very fast. running out of the solid fuel. So we're going to turn on main engine. We're going to turn off SAS. Huzzah! So that did the trick that time. We turned off the autopilot, the auto straight up pilot. And what that allowed us to do was those booster rockets didn't steer like they did last time. They tried to steer straight up, and that of course brought them into the path of the rocket. Now we're at 10,000 meters. I'm going to start the rollover process. There we go. We're heading towards the 90-degree mark there. And again, we want to roll it over to start getting an orbit going, because that's what we need to get to the moon. We cannot just... You can't just point up at the moon and just hope to get there. You have to get into an orbit and then set your path and whatnot, and that's a big, long, tedious process, but it's going to be pretty easy once we get that all set. Once our orbit's set, it's pretty easy to just put it in fast forward and wait until you see your opportunity to shoot for the moon. When you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll end up in the stars. Alright, so we're at almost 70,000 meters. I'm going to roll it right over. Start pushing this orbit around. And then see if we can't shoot for the moon. Alright guys, I'm going to just fast forward it ahead and let's see how this goes. Okay guys, after quite a long trip and a lot of autosave, auto-load retries, I will admit, we did get a really nice orbit and we saved a shit ton of fuel. Basically, like I said, I kept doing a few autosave, auto-loads, and I got my throw towards the moon just perfect and didn't really have to retrograde brake at all. Came around kind of the dark side really close to the moon and picked up some speed, and now we're coming out of the light side, coming out kind of high, and of course we're going very slow. So, you know, we got a really lucky strike, and now we're just going to try and set her down gently, hopefully, on the moon, which is right below us there. So we're just going to put our butt to the wind. We're heading this way, so we want to slow down as we approach our landing space. There we go, right dead center. All right, I'm going to speed up just a little bit and try and get just out of this dark side a little bit here. So like I said, we are on the descending side of this big parabolic arc. It's still pretty dark. I definitely want to be on the light side. There we go. So far. Yeah, everything's looking good. It's always good to keep an eye on the horizon, I've noticed. Because if you look straight down like this, you kind of are always thinking, I'm just about to hit the ground, I'm just about to hit the ground, I'm just about to hit the ground. But you look out and you're like, oh fuck, I'm like 8 miles up. We're in good standings. I think we got, like I said, we have a shit ton of fuel left. Let's lower those arms. Yeah, we're in really good standing. There we go. Nose is basically straight up. So basically just want to hold around 10 meters a second or so. Oops, there we go. Okay. Accidentally started going up. That's never good. Almost down. There's our shadow. Shadow is definitely going to help us determine where we are. And, guys, we're down. Like I said, this is I mentioned this at the beginning, this is the very first time I've ever actually done this. This is amazing. Okay, let's get little, whatever the fuck his name is, out of the craft. Oh, look at the earth back there. Oh, that is wicked. Oh, what I forgot to do was extend the ladder. I just jumped. That would have been a drastic mistake if the button was on the inside of the cabin. That is so cool. Oh, sun's that way. Let's face the sun. Face the earth. Get a good screenshot here. Yeah, look how fucking happy he is. That dude is the happiest Kerbin alive right now. That is so cool. Okay, let's see. Yeah, craft has half its fuel left. So getting back to Earth, I don't think is going to be that big of a problem, but it's also something I've never done before. So I don't know. I know the moon's gravity isn't going to be very strong. We should be able to just push for the Earth, just get up a few thousand meters and just angle towards the Earth and just, you know, full blast and basically just shoot at it. Because once we're pointed at it and we can sort of just hit it, we can land that little pod and seemingly, you know, the Kerbal Space Program will come pick him up in the ocean or on the land or wherever he is in little black Kerbal helicopters. So I would say this is successful so far. I mean, by the look on his face, I would say he's shaking. Look at him. He's like shuddering. He's like, oh my God, I'm so fucking happy. A little tear, like a single tear, trickles down his face, drip into his suit. Buddy, if you think that's spectacular, turn around. Yeah, look at that view. Boom. Patney. You like that, Patney? Dope. Boing. Hee. Awesome. Yep, this is my favorite game right now, and this is obviously why. Because it's awesome. I'm strafing it. I'm Black Ops in it. They should turn this game into a shooter. Uh-oh. Man down. Man down. Man down. You alright, Pat? You alright, buddy? Yeah, he's good. He's good. Put the RC... Put that thing away. There we go. Okay. So, let's... Boing. Let's get back in the craft. Boing. This is one small step for Kerbman. One giant leap for Kerbmankind. Come on. Come on. Don't break yourself. All right, so little Kerbman's oxygen tanks are probably getting close to dry now that he's been on the lunar surface for a few hours collecting samples. So he's going to say one last goodbye. Goodbye, Moon. Hopefully I'll see you again someday. And where? Oh, Auto Gelato. Trying to find. Where the fuck is the Earth? There it is. Okay, so the Earth is at a looks like a 90 heading ish. So guys, here we go. So again, we just want to get a bunch of height, start gaining some speed slowly, because there's virtually, I won't say no gravity here, but there is very little gravity here. So all we really have to do is just slowly get up to speed, and then hopefully just as we get to the drop off on the other side of the moon here, we'll be going fast enough that we can full throttle, maybe get up to like 1,500 meters a second or so, and just try and slingshot for the Earth. Of course, the Earth is moving, so we will have to kind of keep an eye on where it's going. Uh-oh. Okay, gonna go to chase mode. Because if you're not in chase mode, up is not up and down is not down. There we go. So we're ripping 700 meters a second. Apoapsis is growing and growing and growing. Okay, there goes that motor. There we go. Goodbye, motors. Thank you for all your help. Godspeed, fellas. Okay, so where's the Earth? The Earth is there. It's on its own orbit. And as it stands right now, we're going to go out about that far and then start coming back, I think. What we're trying to do is get that apoapsis. Sorry, moon escape. Get that towards the Earth. I'd say that's probably good enough. Now what we want to do is time accelerate. Start getting away from the moon a bit so we can start losing its gravity. Because way out here, we're still going real fast. But a little bit of thrust will go a long, long, long way. Let's see how we're doing here. Where are we going? Yeah, there we go. About half thrust, and we're accelerating nicely. All right, let's time accelerate again. I don't feel like I don't feel like we're moving. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, something fishy's going on here. All right, let's time accelerate again. There we go. So we do have a nice pass by, but obviously not in the good standings we want to be in. Let's see, which way is the moon going? We're seemingly going to pass by it this way. Come on, dude. There we go. We want to go that way. Actually, let's save our fuel, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a hard brake as we get in closer to the Earth. Right around here. There we go. Okay, now we just got to spin around. Start shallowing that orbit down. I'm going to trim the periapsis down quite a bit, because we're going very fast, which is unfortunate. How much gas do we have left? Yeah, we got lots of fuel. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. There we go, we have an orbit, which is good. So eventually we'll crash into the Earth. Got lots of fuel left. Again, all we gotta do is brake until that orbit touches the Earth, and that means we'll hit the Earth. Okay, so let's, again, time accelerate. Point our ass into the wind. Got about a third of a tank, a quarter of a tank left. Okay, we're almost there, almost there, almost there, and we're there. Look at that, guys. That is stellar. Now, I wish I knew where Cape Canaveral was on this map. I really have no idea. That looks like a penis. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea, because it doesn't look like it's marked. It should be marked. There should be like a little star. Land here. Okay, so we're just going to come down. Let's just get rid of all this fuel. I'm just going to come down right in the middle of the mass. So basically, the more fuel we get rid of, the smaller we make this arc, the sooner we'll hit the ground. That looks good, right? Right in the middle. We'll pretend there's a city there. We'll pretend like we mathematically decided that that is exactly where we're going to land. So let's, again, we'll just time accelerate a bit here. Yeah, looking good so far. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to detach away the stage. There we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now you'll notice I left that rocket running and then jerked the pod off to one side. That was, of course, intentional. You'll notice the rocket is accelerating away from us. If I detach them at the same time, that thing's kind of coming along with us for the ride, essentially. And it can occasionally have violent consequences. And of course, we don't want that. So we're screaming in at 2,000 meters a second. That is, well, I don't know how fast that is. That is very fast for you kids at home. We're at 130,000 meters and descending quite quickly. Let's just, oh, I cannot time accelerate when the throttle's on. There we go. So we're going to start entering atmosphere at some point here. 70,000, 60,000. All right, so like I said, at some point we should start hitting air. We're starting to get into the atmosphere just a little bit. Now I'm going to try and spin the back end around a bit. There we go. So we're coming in ass first, which is what you want, because the shield, the heat shield, is actually on the bottom of this craft. Coming in real fast. Starting to brake, hitting the air. The natural air brake. Good stuff. Parachute is deployed. Parachute is assisting our deceleration. It's hitting the soupy thickness of air. It's going to deploy probably in the next 2,000 or 3,000 meters. .130 meters a second. And everything's looking great. Wow. Guys, I would say this is definitely a super successful mission. I thank you all for your thoughts, prayers, and crossed fingers, because without you guys, this would not have been possible. So, Patney Kerman, the very first Kerbal of the Kerbal Space Program, and of course the sub-division, the Experimental Research Division. It's the first Kerbal to not only get to the moon, but get to the moon and back. So Pat Kerman is a hero amongst men here in the Kerbin, whatever this planet's called. Sure is taking a long time. Can I accelerate? There we go. Do a little time acceleration to get to the ground, because this is taking fucking forever. And touchdown. It is officially the first moon and back mission of the Experimental Research Division. So, guys, what I encourage you to do is follow that link at the top there. Give me a sub, give me a subscription, and that, of course, helps me rank better, helps other people find us, which, of course, will in turn result in more suggested games to play. Because, again, all my games that I play are user-submitted by people like you. So you, right there listening, yes, you, I want you to give me a message. Tell me what games you're playing right now and what games you think I should play, because I always play them. I may not make a video of them, but I always play them. So, guys, until next time, me and Pat Kerman, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers.